Sophia's POV. Sophia. Hey, wait. I turn in the rain to hear wet slaps hitting against the pavement as Daryl runs after me. Why do we keep meeting like this? Hey, you good? I question, clutching at the sides of my hood and allowing for the sweet smell of his aftershave to float into my nostrils. It's wet, can I buy you a quick coffee in here? I mean, I would usually offer to walk you home, but your brother might hate that. Daryl gestures to the small little store beside us named Hugs and Mugs and asks. I gulp slightly at the mention of my brother, who I had openly lied about, claiming that he lived with me and was overprotective of me and blah blah. Sure. I agree, knowing that I wanted to get to the bottom of what had gotten into him today after his strange mood in English class this morning. Daryl opens the door, allowing for me to step inside first, before an older lady motions for us to sit in the free booth by the window. What will it be, kids? She questions, as I shrug off my wet jacket and inhale a breath. Just an Americano for me please and a. Daryl trails off, looking to me for my order as I clear my throat a little, feeling put on the spot. Can I try the iced hazelnut latte please? I ask for the first thing which had caught my eye on the menu as she nods and scribbles down the order. Any extras? Cakes or a sandwich? The lady continues, as I shake my head a little and look to Daryl. Yeah, 2 slices of the red velvet. He grins, offering me a wink as I giggle at his eagerness. He clearly likes this place. The lady moves off with our order written down, as I glance around at the pink and green interior, enjoying how cute the place was. 1 minute I had been pounding the pavement to get home in record time with the storm, and the next I was sat in here ordering coffee and cake with Daryl. Speaking of which, seemed to have had a problem earlier today and I wanted to know why. The cakes here are top ran. Gee, Daryl confirms, speaking out first as I smile and nod, not really knowing what to say next and feeling somewhat awkward again, seeming to pick up on the vibe. Daryl leans forward, placing his elbows on the table as I glance over his features, seeing his damp darkened blonde hair resting on his forehead due to the rain. I wanted to catch you after school to apologize for this morning. I was being weird. He nods firmly, going straight for the kill with his words, which shocks me. Oh, it's okay. I push a smile, before worrying quickly that I hadn't said enough. Is everything okay with you though? I question, clasping my hands together on my lap to ease my nerves. Daryl looked conflicted, taking a moment to think up an answer before responding. I was acting like a little bitch, it wasn't your fault. I just felt a weird way because you asked me to move seat. Daryl grumbles admittedly, as my eyes widen. Was that it? He didn't want to move? I did think maybe that had always been his seat, his comfort zone. No, I get it honestly. How long have you sat there? It's going to be a hassle to swap seats if that's where you're used to sitting. I smile, but Daryl doesn't seem to return the gesture. Pausing, as the lady from before returns with a tray in hand, taking her time to place the coffees down in front of us before placing 2 plates of red velvet cake slices down too. I'll admit, the cake did look great. Thanks, Helen. Daryl nods, evidently on a first-name basis with the woman as she smiles and pats his shoulder. Tell your mother I'm asking for her. Helen chimes, turning to head off as Daryl returns to our conversation. I did get the vibe that this town was the sort of place where everybody knew everybody, and so far, it was living up to my suspicions. I take the chance to try my coffee, humming in delight after the first swallow. It was already the best coffee I had ever tried by far. Like it? Daryl suddenly laughs as I nod eagerly and take another sip. Wait till you try the cake. He nods down towards it, grabbing a fork and moving to take his first bite. I decide to follow his lead, grabbing my own and placing a piece of the red sponge into my mouth, the flavors bursting onto my tongue instantly. Wow, this is great. I nod my conclusion, taking another piece as he grins and seems amused with himself for recommending it. A brief moment passed between us, as we enjoyed the cake and coffee together, watching the heavy rain outside as it battered its way around the streets. So back to our conversation. I was being an ass. I didn't want to switch seats, not because I've always sat there, I don't care about that, but because I actually enjoyed sitting next to you. Daryl suddenly admits in a ramble, as I swallow the piece of cake currently in my mouth and give him an odd look. He wanted to stay beside me in class? That was it? He probably thought I hated him after asking him to move. Oh Daryl, I am so sorry. I didn't even think. I didn't ask you to move because I didn't like you being there. I just got excited that I had made a friend at school. I quickly attempt to explain, as he nods slowly and drinks in what I was saying. I know that, now, but at first I just felt sorta offended. I was being a little bitch about it, and so I wanted to find you to apologize. I don't mind if Emma sits there. Daryl confirms, as I feel instantly guilty having made him annoyed earlier. He was also my friend around here, somebody who had done me more favors than one in my first week of being in town. I appreciated it, and I appreciated having him to talk to. Look, I really didn't mean it that way and I'm sorry for upsetting you. I loved having you sit beside me. I just felt excited because Emma is a girl and I knew we could talk about silly stuff together to help pass the time. I really meant no harm. I tell him, hoping to fix the tension between us. Daryl ate the last of his cake, as I took another drink from my coffee, waiting to hear what he had to say next. No hard feelings. I've thought about it and I get it. That's why I wanted to catch you. There's a party tonight at Vincent's place and I want you and Emma to come. It will be fun, not too many people either. He smiles, as my heart sinks to the pit of my stomach. A party? I fumble, in utter disbelief that he was inviting me to such an event, especially at Vincent's house. After what Emma told me about Vincent and his family, about the drug and gang rumors, I wasn't sure if it was best for me to go. Daryl could be more involved than what he lets on too. I just don't know. I already told Emma and she agreed after some convincing as long as you were going too. I said I could pick you both up later to make things easier. Daryl rushes, as I blink and open my mouth like an idiot lost for words. Emma has already agreed. Probably thinking that I would have agreed eventually too. Maybe it won't be that bad having her there with us? Oh, and before I forget, Vincent said that one of the older guys from the bar left Tito a tip for you the other day. I forgot to give you it this morning. Daryl states, turning to reach into his wallet to retrieve some notes. Should be 60 there. It was from one of your tables on Wednesday. They all put money together for the young thing they called you. Daryl laughs, handing over the notes as I stutter and thank him. Wow. My first shift and some of the guys went out of their way to leave me a big tip with Tito? That's kind. So what about the party? I'll pick you up at 7? Daryl concludes, using the napkin to wipe his hands and face. Oh okay, but I'll meet you at the park to avoid my brother? Is Emma definitely going too? I manage, shocked and overwhelmed with my new Friday night plans. She is. I better go catch the next bus before I miss it. We took Vincent's car to school today so I'm stranded. Don't worry about the coffee, it's already paid. Daryl stands, checking his watch, as I study him. Thank you. I manage to say, bewildered with the whole experience. I'll see you tonight. The park at 7. Daryl winks, before rushing towards the door, leaving me behind in wonder watching him run out into the rain and towards the bus stop, which rightly so. The bus appeared not a moment later. I better make a quick dash back to the thrift store for a party outfit with my tip. That comes in handy now. Sophia's POV sighing. I used the cheap makeup that I found in town to attempt to spice up my party look a little more for tonight. Daryl must be serious about being my friend if he apologized and also invited not only me, but Emma to their party tonight, and the least I could do was make an effort. I used $10 of the tip money to purchase a pink mini skirt and a black off-the-shoulder crop top to go with it. The outfit was on the mannequin yesterday when I had visited the thrift store, and although I really wanted to buy it, I didn't have any reasons to wear it, but I do now. I visited the discount store across the street after that, where I found some cheap makeup products on a sale. The same lady who had served me on my first night in town had greeted me again with a kind smile, proceeding to comment, "You look great, dear," which I appreciated more than she knew. I wasn't lying when I said I just needed some time to get on my feet. Finding the small makeup section, I managed to find a foundation which was down to $4 but was slightly more tanned for my skin. I decided to add an instant tan moisturizer to my basket for $2, deciding that it would help to make the foundation work and overall would bring my paler skin back to life a little. Back when my life was normal, at home I was a regular sunbather and I usually kept up with a decent tan, but since being on the run it had faded, leaving me paler than what I was Ed 2. I was like a literal walking ghost of my past self, to put it lightly. I proceeded to purchase a face powder, concealer, bronzer, blush, mascara, highlighter, eyeliner, a lipstick and a brow styler, with my total coming to $26, which was a record for makeup products. It was a pretty good deal, although I wasn't sure how well the products themselves would work having been so cheap, but I couldn't grumble. Having some of my tip money left to spare, I felt accomplished after my shopping spree and quickly made my way home to shower and prepare for tonight. Here I now sat, in front of the bathroom mirror as I attempted to do my makeup, realizing that I hadn't actually purchased any sponges or brushes to help me. Damn, I was so out of practice with this stuff. The face powder thankfully came with a little powder puff, but as for the rest, I quickly got started by using my fingers. I worked the foundation over my skin, the coverage not being great but helping to bring some life into my complexion nonetheless. I then used a little concealer before using the powder puff to set the liquids, before using the same puff to add my bronzer and blush to help brighten up my cheeks. It doesn't look too bad. Now onto the eyes and brows. Taking my time, feeling incredibly under-practiced, I managed to create a decent winged liner, not too thick, with somewhat neat and styled brows. Finishing off with some highlighter applied with my finger, before brushing my teeth, I complete the look with my pinky nude lipstick. Standing back a little, I take in my appearance, having successfully matched my foundation to my tan without it being too dark and thankful that my blonde hair had dried straight after my shower. I looked normal again. The sight alone brought a tear to my eye, as I quickly looked up to the ceiling to diminish any water before it could spill and ruin my end result. It had been a long time since I had seen myself all dressed, set up to go hang out with people, wearing a nice outfit with makeup and everything on. I sprayed so much deodorant to prevent any sweat or smells from conjuring throughout the night and hoped that Emma would pack a perfume in a bag that I could borrow, not owning any of my own at the moment and knowing that it would be the perfect final touch. Okay, I'm ready. I checked the time, seeing that I had 15 minutes to make it to the park, and so I grabbed my hooded jacket and tossed it around me, given that it was still raining and I didn't want to ruin my freshly washed hair or makeup. I locked my door, placing the key in my school backpack, which I had no choice other than to take with me since I didn't own any cute handbags anymore. Skipping down the steps, I freeze by the building door when hearing my neighbors drunken hollering from the top floor. Crap, they are coming down here. Better move it. With that thought alone, I dash out into the storm, thankful that the rain had momentarily eased up as I sprinted my way up the street, trying to keep my tinted moisturizer intact to avoid unnecessary streaks from forming. It said it was fast drying and water resistant, but when is that ever totally true? I doubt it could stand for long through this storm. It didn't take me long to reach the park as I jogged and took shelter under one of the bus stops nearby to watch for Daryl's car. I didn't know the time now after leaving my apartment, so all I could do was stand around and hope that he shows up for me. Taking a seat, I check my bare legs over for streaks, and eventually sigh, thankful that they looked okay as I dabbed off any remaining water droplets caught in the storm. You lost, little thing? I suddenly look up to find a hooded man, as I stand upright from the bus stop bench. And no, I'm good thanks. I quickly respond, watching his eyes rake over me from head to toe agonizingly slow, as I stood back in attempts to hide behind my hood. I see and wait with you if you want, could help pass the time quicker. He drawls out slowly, taking a dragged step forward as I gasp and begin to panic. He was middle-aged and scruffy, his teeth stained yellow as he grinned with a wicked look. Who the fuck are you? I turn on my heels before hearing a car door slam shut, revealing Daryl as he quickens his pace towards me. The man's eyes widen, and his hands shoot up in surrender, his full creepy demeanor shifting as he tries to act normal. Whoa, Comet. I was only making sure she wasn't lost. The guy states, suddenly blundering. Sophia, get in the car. Daryl warns, his tone blunt as I instantly make a move. Rushing towards the waiting vehicle in fear of a fight, climbing inside I watch Daryl yell at the guy, pointing an accusing finger at him, occasionally shoving at his shoulder threateningly. My breathing increased as did my heart rate, praying for the night not to get ruined right before it even starts. But thankfully, the guy takes off in a quick stride, hands stuffed into his jean pockets as Daryl turns back to join me. Climbing into the driver's side, he closes over his eyes and breathes steadily before even attempting to say anything. Next time, I'll be picking you up from your doorstep. I don't care what your brother says. Daryl turns to me, with his tone evidently agitated. I all but nod, knowing that right now wasn't the time to convince him otherwise, as he puts the car into drive and we head towards Emma's house. I just hope that his mood lightens up by the time we get to the party. Sophia's POV rolling up to Emma's house. I observe the surrounding street filled with cute cottages with well-kept gardens full of flowers and trees. This was nice. Vincent's place is only 5 minutes from here. Daryl explains, as I nod and look out of the window in search of my friend. Beeping the horn, we wait for Emma, giving her a couple of minutes before watching her emerge from her house with who I'm assuming is her mom and dad coming out at her back too. Her dad holds an umbrella over her head like a true gentleman as she blushes and approaches the car, her glasses nowhere to be seen and her hair and makeup done. She wore black leather trousers and a red crop top with black sneakers. She looks nice. Daryl suddenly opens his car door and I decide to do the same, not wanting to be rude. Hello Daryl, and you must be Sophia? Emma has told us all about you, dear. Her mom waves, as I smile and greet them both. Emma will be staying back at your place tonight, is that right, Sophia? She said you both have the same curfew? Her father questions, catching me off guard as I glance to Emma, who gives me a tight nod to which I understand immediately. Yes, that's right. I smile brightly, as they both seem satisfied with my answer. Take care of them, son. Her father shakes Daryl's hand next, as Daryl chuckles and promises he will. They tell us to have fun, and with that we climb back into the car and get ready to head to the party. Sorry, Sophia, they would have made me be back for 10 if I didn't say I was staying at your place. Emma breathes out, as Daryl chuckles, which causes for her cheeks to redden. She wasn't totally comfortable with him yet, and so I hoped after tonight she would be. Don't worry about it. I understand. You look amazing, by the way. I love your hair. I compliment her, as she smiles and thanks me, reaching up to touch her curly styled updo. You look great too. I figured I best make an effort since it's the first party. Emma giggles from the back as I nod and smile. The only problem was, Emma can't possibly come back to my place for a sleepover, because there is quite literally nowhere for her to sleep. She would be horrified to find nothing in my apartment other than blankets and creaky floorboards. I'll see how the night goes, and I'll have to come up with a plan to avoid the whole sleepover scenario. Ready? Daryl announces, as I turn my attention back to the window, approaching a large black gate as the car slows to a stop. I can't see any house here? What is this place? Daryl rolls his window down as we reach a small post, before he presses a buzzer and waits a moment as I turn back to Emma, who pulls a I don't know face, sharing my confusion. Seconds later, the gates begin to open for us, allowing us entry onto the new road as Daryl proceeds forward up the gravel path. Within minutes, luxurious mansion-style houses line the street, there being around 8 in total, all evenly spaced from each other. We continue on, before reaching the end one, as my eyes nearly roll out of my head when Daryl pulls up to park, the thumping of music faintly heard from inside. No way is this where Vincent Walker lives. This can't be it. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I gawk out the window as Daryl laughs and shakes his head. Inside's even better, trust me. You can only imagine my face when I turned up to his first birthday party held at home when we were 8. He comments, motioning for us to get out of the car as we follow his lead. Stepping out into the rain, we rush towards the front door, as Daryl steps forward to open it for us both. Here, give me your jackets. He gestures as soon as we are in, as I glance around at the extravagant grand entrance. I slowly shrug the jacket off from my shoulders, in a trance-like state as I stare around at the true size of the place. A grand staircase faced us, having 2 flights of steps leading up to the second floor, which consisted of a balcony connecting the two to overlook us. Whoa! The interior was mostly beige and gold, the floors a dark wood, which gave a more homey feel to the open space. It wasn't too crowded, but there was definitely a decent number of people here, all with cups in hand and seeming drunk already. Let's go get you two a drink first. Daryl S. Tates, as my eyes widen at the thought. Are we drinking alcohol? I know it's normal for people this age to throw house parties and to get drunk, but I didn't really get to experience anything like it since leaving home, so it was still really daunting. This was coming from the same girl who quite recently just accepted a job in a bar. How ironic. But somehow, it sounded worse drinking the liquids as opposed to pouring them in my mind. We enter into a large living space, with the world's largest TV mounted on the wall, along with a guy I recognized from school on a DJ deck playing tracks beneath it. People danced and laughed, a couple of the cheerleaders catching our eye as we entered the room, which only made me instantly feel on edge. Daryl won't let anything happen to us, I reminded myself, knowing that he invited us to be genuine. We proceeded into the next room, a massive kitchen with a large marble island in the center of the room, stocked with more alcohol than what you can even imagine. What will it be? Daryl asks, as I look to Emma, who looks just as taken aback and bewildered as me. At least I wasn't experiencing this place alone. I've never had a drink. I don't know, I admit shyly, as Daryl nods and turns to look at the stock. The sober bartender, I see? I'll make you up something you might like, he offers, before turning to Emma, who shrugs too. Okay, I'll sort you two something nice, don't stress. Take a seat and I'll be over in 2. Daryl smiles, as we move together towards a dining table in the far end of the kitchen to wait. Glad to have a moment alone with Emma, I turn to her and pull a face which causes her to laugh out loudly. This has to be a dream? Emma states, as I agree. It can't possibly be a real home, there's no way. We've not even seen a quarter of this place yet. I laugh back, as Emma shakes her head and looks around another time. I think on it, deciding that we should just make the most of it and be normal teenagers for one night, as I turn to Emma with a mischievous smile. What are you up to? Emma raises a brow, as I giggle and chew my lip at the thought. I say, for one night only, we go crazy and do everything we haven't done before. Who knows when we will ever be invited to another party, right? So let's go wild. I laugh as Emma begins to join me, rolling her eyes playfully before giggling too. Fine, I'm convinced. Let's just have fun. No more feeling uncomfortable for us. Emma agrees, which makes me feel a little excited for the night ahead. Between her and Daryl, we could just have some carefree fun, try alcohol, dance to the music and maybe socialize a little too. Here's to a normal night for the first time in a long time. Sophia POV 2? I gasp, as Daryl hands us 2 full cups of alcohol each. Yeah, it saves us having to top up again so soon. Daryl laughs, before turning to grab his own drinks from the countertop. I glance to Emma, before lifting the cup up to my lips to taste it, as she watches me cautiously to see my reaction. Whatever it was fruity and sweet, and surprisingly wasn't bad at all. I actually like it. What is it? I hum, as Daryl looks accomplished. Sex on the beach, he states, as my cheeks heat at the name of the drink alone. Why was I like this? Everybody in this place has probably already had sex, and yet I was blushing over Daryl making me a drink with the word in the damn title. Try it, Emma, it's really good, I promise. I nod to her, as she takes a quick breath before placing the liquid into her mouth, taking a moment to taste it. Huh, I didn't expect that. Emma nods her approval and goes in for another drink as I giggle and hold up my cup. Cheers. Here's to having a great party. I hoist it up and clink my cup off of Daryl and Emma's as they copy me, reciting cheers in response before we all swing the cups back. Daryl stands and motions for us to follow him, as we quickly get up and take our cups with us in whatever direction he was going. Entering another room in the house with only around 10 people inside, we are greeted with a sort of man hut area with dart boards, a pool table, a mini bar, leather sofas, and a beer pong setup with some people engrossed in a tournament. We spent some time finishing our drinks all while Daryl attempted to teach us both how to play pool, to which we sucked at, giggling each time we would take forever to line up the ball only for it to miss the hole. What I did guiltily enjoy though, was the way Daryl had offered to show me the ropes at first, putting his arms around me. His face was incredibly close to mine, to the point I could feel his hot breath on my neck, sending shivers up my spine as he pressed his body tightly to me. It was safe to say that I was growing flustered, but I had to play it cool. We were friends, I couldn't ruin that by catching silly feelings for the poor guy who had only tried to be nice to me this week. But he was rather flirty. I'll go and get us some more drinks. You two can hang out in here. Daryl laughs, as we clap and cheer, handing him our empty cups, evidently feeling the alcohol begin to take its toll. I still felt fully in control of my actions, only more confident and excited thanks to the alcohol. It was actually pretty great to have a drink at a party. It was a shame that we hadn't tried it sooner, to be totally honest. Let's dance, I announce, seeing Daryl leave the room as more people enter, the numbers in here beginning to reach around 20 very quickly. The music thumped, as I swayed my hips and grabbed Emma's hands to force her to join me as she giggled and began to dance too. This was so much fun. We moved and laughed, with most people around us seeming to be on the same level of drunkenness, which was actually really nice. So far there had been no problems, just a good atmosphere and some good fun. Daryl returned soon enough with our drinks on a tray, as we took the first cup and drank some greedily. This is a great party, I tell him, allowing the newfound alcohol confidence to speak for me as I lean onto his arm. You think so? Daryl smiles, flashing his perfect teeth as I nod and turn to Emma, who also offers a thumbs up as his hand snakes around my waist and rests on my ass, causing an excited rush to shoot through me. I wasn't making it up, he was flirting too. We continue on, finishing the next 2 cups, before taking some shots together, enjoying each other's light-hearted company, before I suddenly feel a major urge to pee. Bathroom break, I announce, causing them both to laugh as Daryl salutes me in understanding. He walks us out of the room into the hallway, pointing to a door before seemingly noticing some of his friends as he waves and yells over to them. You two pee, I'll be in the kitchen when you come back, I'm going to say hi to some people. Daryl explains quickly, moving away from us before we could even respond. Shrugging it off, I grab Emma by the hand and hurry her into the bathroom with me, not wanting to leave her alone at all tonight. I instantly lift my skirt and sit down to pee as Emma fixes little pieces of her hair in the mirror before retrieving a perfume from her small bag. No way, I was hoping that you brought some. Can I borrow it, please? I wipe myself quickly and fix my outfit, moving to wash my hands. Of course. Here, take it until I pee. Emma laughs, handing me the bottle after I dry my hands, as I smell the lid and moan. That stuff smells so nice, I state, spraying it around my neck and wrists. We finish up, laughing at each other's growing drunkenness as we occasionally wobble and do silly out-of-character dances to the beat to make one another giggle. Stepping outside, the music is instantly louder, and without further thought we begin to dance our way towards where the crowd is, grabbing some odd random drinks from a tray on passing. Let's just pop our heads into the busy section of the party before we go back and find Daryl. We need to experience it all, right? Stepping inside, I almost collapse to find topless cheerleaders on top of tables as the men all whistle and holler around them, everyone dancing and getting crazy. This is wild. Emma yells to me over the music, as I nod and divert my gaze from their naked chests and take a sip from my new drink. How were they so confident? With that thought, I decide to just let loose, grabbing Emma's hands and forcing her to dance with me again as we join in with the crowd around us. Shots? We turn to find a guy with a shots tray, as I nod and shrug, taking two for myself as Emma does the same. Thanking him, we throw the drinks back one after another, before clutching our fiery throats. Those were way worse than the ones we done with Daryl. Shit. That stuff hits different. I stick out my tongue in exaggeration as Emma chuckles and agrees. The song changes, as we both jump excitedly when recognizing it, instantly beginning to dance to the beat, swaying our hips and moving our heads from side to side. This was so much fun. Moments go by, before two random guys we haven't seen before snake their arms around our hips, and in the moment, I find myself laughing and thinking that they just want to dance and have some fun. We allow them to dance with us, as I feel the one behind me begin to move his hips closer, pressing into my ass from behind. This was different, and I don't know how I feel about it. You're fucking gorgeous, baby, he whispers in my ear, as I glance to Emma to find her still dancing with the other one, reassuring myself that things were fine. What has gotten into us? We would never act like this sober. Get the fuck off her. I gasp when hearing somebody yell, before the man dancing with me removes his arms in a split second before being tackled to the floor. I turn in a panic, and I'm even more shocked to find that it's Vincent on top of the guy, landing a punch into his face before his friends quickly intervene and drag him off. Vincent was seething, seeming unhinged, as he turns to find me amongst the group. You two are coming with me, he points and yells, as Emma moves to hold on to me in sudden fear of him. Where was Daryl when I need him? What did we do wrong?